What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sanity Symphony Podcast, here with your host, Official Insanity. And today, for the new year of 2025, we're going to start off with our very first guest for the new year, Tori. And introduce yourself to the crowd.
Hi, thank you so much. And the first guest, wow, I feel I feel special for sure. So I'm Tori Indeed, um, the creator of Vibe to Vibe, which is a platform that is not genre based nor music based. It's genre to genre, entertainment to entertainment. So it covers creatives from writers to musicians, visual artists. So it's the whole culture, all the arts, and there's not genre specific nor entertainment specific. And I've been doing this since a kid. I've always been that person to provide somebody a platform or encourage them to go ahead and really showcase their talent, whether it's behind the scenes or as an act. So I've been doing this literally naturally since a kid. Vibe to Vibe was created 10 years ago. Wow, 10 years ago, this upcoming September, October. So that's been milestones and consistency, ambition. So I'm really happy to be here and talk to you, especially about mental health. So thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and thank you for taking the time to be here and speak on your mind, on your journey as well. And
Thank you.
for starters, share your mission and the vision of Vibe to Vibe TV, your contributions, and what your audience gets out of watching your podcast.
So right now, Vibe to Vibe. So initially it did start as like podcasting or internet radio, and it shifted over to TV. So when I officially launched it as the brand Vibe to Vibe, because I had a whole nother brand going on, and something was missing from it. And so finally, when I recreated and rebranded it, Vibe to Vibe was born, and that's how I launched it with internet TV. So it is available on Roku TV. And smart devices. So it's super cool. It's like, all right, now everybody's shifting over. So we were like the beginning of the era of podcasting and that kind of collection, because first it was YouTube and then it shifted over to podcast, so it was like a whole evolution. So what they get is right now, well, you yourself know, and any creator or podcaster or vlogger or anybody knows, like, the background work is serious. And so right now I do have some old school music videos playing on the platform, on the actual TV channel. So we're getting ready to launch and drop interviews as well. And you will get a variety. So you will get a creator. It could be a visual artist, it can be a musician, a writer, like I mentioned earlier. So it's really set on any level. It could be a beginner to an expert. So as long as they're serious about their craft and really pursuing it, they have an opportunity to join us and showcase their talent. So that's really exciting. This year I have like producers, more visual artists, musicians. So I'm really excited for this year as well. But they get a little bit of everything when we speak to beginners, to experts, to industry professionals as well. So it's not excluding them either.
I love it. I love that you're giving the exposure to people to share their talents as well, because not every platform is open to share for certain people.
Right. As long as they're serious, why not? You know?
Exactly. And amongst you building your podcast and your brand, could you speak on some of the challenges of working in it and how challenging it could be to be in such a competitive environment, and how you were able to maintain and balance your mental health through it all?
So I love that you mentioned the mental health aspect of it. So um, I'm not really in the area of competition.
Mm,
So I never really even focused on that either, because I feel like me myself, like speaking personally on my own behalf, is like I'm a little crazy, and crazy in a positive way, because you know, it was like I don't even know how to explain it, but other people that do not understand the creator, it's like a downfall. Like, oh, you do too much of this, too much of that. Like, no, I love music, I love art, I love dancing, I love entertainment, I love movies. So it's just like, all right, pick one. It's hard. And no, I don't want to pick one. But at the end of the day, like my personal hobbies, my personal talents, I have a wide spec. Like, you don't understand. Like, you can catch me. I used to be part of a dance crew when I was younger. I was a gymnast. For fun, was making music and beats and things like that. So it wasn't like that I wanted to pursue anything seriously. That's why I fell in love with giving other people that spotlight. I didn't never wanted to just choose one, right? So with building a brand, a vibe to vibe, and being on a platform. So I'm on Vibe to Vibe is on UNTV, Universe Network Television, as well as Roku TV, smart TVs and devices, right? So with that, I didn't want to focus just on music because then it has to be like, okay, what genre? No, it's all genres, all music, all entertainment. So when you're building a brand, you have to check in with yourself mentally because I am a perfectionist and I'm also obsessed. So when I get this idea, I get obsessive and I'll go nonstop. So 12 hours could go by and I'm like, what? Did I even eat today? Did I even like get up and walk around and get my blood flowing? So mental health is the root of everything. And because it falls into and aligns every other part of your physical health. Did you eat? Did you sleep? Are you getting enough sleep? How many times have you yourself broken night because you just had your aha moment or you have this vision and you're just trying to create and it could be very affecting your health not in a good way. So I think mental health is the root of of being able to function into your day-to-day life.
I respect that a lot, and I can definitely tell you from my experience as well. I'd say it had to be the day I finally like planned and knew what I was gonna do with my podcast. I was up till like maybe 3 in the morning, making up a title, thinking of apps I can use to make all my images and thumbnails and things like that, editing apps. Like I was doing so much research into this podcast, staying up till like 3 in the morning, just
Oh yeah,
draining myself mentally. But
I can
I
relate.
had a say that again.
I can relate.
Oh
So
yeah.
you're not alone.
And a few episodes ago, I had a guest named DJ Marquito who was on here, and he said the best way that he feels like everyone should maintain their mental health when it comes to things like this, if you're like a very ambitious person, is find things that you can turn to when you're ready to, like, basically when you're finally like burned out and you're ready to relax. Find things that you can resort to in order to like rebuild yourself and give yourself some alone time to like re-up yourself and fix yourself up. Like for example, he loves basketball. He's always listening to music and he always resorts to his faith. So he's always going to his Bible or just doing a quick prayer, things like that.
Oh, I agree with him. I love that. That's absolutely true.
Did you have any things that you resort to as well, like he did?
I have too many things I resort to. So I believe so I call them like my different types of therapy, like tactical training. That's my therapy. I love going to the shooting range. I color a lot. I draw, I sketch, do throw ups like graffiti. Um, I do art almost every day. I dance every day. And I think it's really important. It's like, oh, did I work out today? I'm like, not necessarily a workout, but hey, dancing is cardio. Or, oh, did I work out my mind? I like find what is it? Find words. How do you what is it called? Oh my gosh, when you find words in a book, not crossword puzzles.
Um,
Word search, right? It's
Word
probably so
search.
simple, and I'm over here thinking of something big. So, like a word search, coloring, yeah, drawing, things like that. Or lately, I haven't like touched my gaming system, so I've been diving into that lately, and keep my mind going and doing activities, especially with things um that affect your life. I have family members dealing with Alzheimer's. I have family members that deal with other health issues. So I'm like, okay, I have to make sure I keep my brain going or even just to have a healthy balance because I'm the type of person like you yourself could tell me after this. moment that we're having right now, this feature, you could tell me, I have an idea, and then I'll obsess over it, and then I'll think about it. I'm like, wait, I got it, and that's
Yeah.
me, not even for myself, but for other people. So it's like it's hard to uh disconnect sometimes. So sometimes I could be drawing, dancing, coloring, doing whatever at the gun range, and I could remember the one thing you told me, like, oh, I'm trying to figure something out, and I'll have my aha moment in the middle of disconnecting from creating my own stuff to coming up with ideas for you. And then now I'm obsessed. Now I'm in like, oh, Anthony, I have so many things to tell you. I have an idea for you, and then they're like, whoa, this took a lot of time, but it's like, all right, you have to be able to disconnect because other people's energy also like grab onto you. And if it's negative, it could spread. It could spread like cancer. So I try to really disconnect and doing those activities. So I agree. I agree.
For people like me and yourself and people who are like perfectionists and things that they do, what advice would you give them on balancing their personal life and their career?
Honestly, just it's okay. It's okay to be an overthinker. It's okay to be a perfectionist. So just own up to it. Like, listen, it's okay. Like, you're fine. It's normal. Other people don't see it normal, but it's normal. As a creator, our minds are going nonstop, and especially if you're ambitious or having that like that determination to accomplish something, it's okay, it's okay to check yourself and to disconnect too. And then just take your time, revamp it. You could revamp anytime, by the way. So for people that are afraid, like, oh man, I created like before I created Vibe to Vibe, I had another name and I can't even remember it, but I buried it. I'm sure if I go through my stuff and something was wrong with it. I was like, something's missing. And then I'm like Vibe to Vibe. Like my vibe to your vibe. I like to encourage people. I like to uplift people. And then it's from genre to genre, entertainment to different entertainment. So it kind of like finally that was my foundation. Finally, like I was satisfied. But it took time for me to disconnect and for me to be like, it's okay, it'll come to me. Let me just walk away right now. Take your breaks. And you function on your own time. Don't worry about anybody else. And obviously set goals and milestones that you want to achieve. But it could be realistic, you know.
Speaking on goals and milestones, are there any accomplishments that you feel proud of in your journey so far?
So yeah, I thought about that. This just like reminiscing because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to hit 10 years with just Vibe to Vibe alone. Even though I've been doing this since a kid, throwing house parties, having I've been an MC, so I don't just host, like I don't just have a nice pretty flyer and show up somewhere. I actually MC. And so that all started when I was a kid. I used to throw house parties in middle school, high school, and be part of block parties and things like that. And I'm just like, you know, it went from that to having an actual platform, a licensed platform. I didn't mention that. So we are a licensed platform. So we're ASCAP, BMI, CSEC, Sound Exchange, United, wow. Yeah, Universe Network Television, and then which then we broadcast on Roku TV and smart devices. But we are actually a licensed platform. So bringing like my childhood into my teenage years, into my adulthood, it's like, wow, like even that alone, being able to still have that passion and bring it on a platform. And then you start thinking about, oh, I hit 1 year. Damn, Vibe to Vibe is 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old. Now this year, I'm like, oh my gosh, Vibe to Vibe is 10 years old. It's turning 10 years old this 2025. Then I caught myself telling somebody, yeah, we turned 15 years old this year. And I'm like, whoa, I jumped ahead 5 years. Because I'm like, wait, I'm not calculating something right. I'm like, why did I tell you 15? But I'm sure we'll reach 15 years old. And at this point, I want to be behind the scenes. I started diving into being behind the scenes more. Like, I don't want to be the face of Vibe to Vibe. So I started, like, even right before COVID, we were ahead of our time and we were doing virtual drop-ins because I was traveling a lot. So I've had artists from California, from Philly, from Florida, and all these other states, Virginia, that I personally go to. But I'm like, I could do this virtually, there's software out there that we can use. So we were like ahead of our time. And then when COVID hit, it was easy. Like it was an easy transition for me because I was already doing what I was doing virtually. But milestones and goals is just like, wow, we've made it through COVID. We made another year and now we're at 10. So mistakenly, I'm like, oh my God, it could be 15 years old and it will be. How I present the platform at that time, you never know because things are always evolving and changing. But Vibe to Vibe will still exist, whether it's on TV or like a TV platform or just like transitions to just audio, but it will exist.
Wow, and congratulations on reaching 10 years in your podcast. That's truly amazing too.
Thank you. I'm like, don't say 15. But thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem. And could you explain on what it took to like keep you like pushing all those years? Because I know there's some times you could have been like having brain farts and like not being able to think of
Oh,
some
like creator's
ideas.
block. You know how
Yeah,
writers get
yeah.
writer's block, creator's block. So at this point, right now, it's up and running by itself. So um that's the good thing right now because I can program it to be whatever I want to be. But I would say to run strong is you choose what you want to do. You know, don't let other people like, oh, we want more of this from you, you want more of that from you. You choose what you want to put out there. And I am really big on mental health and I'll disconnect. I'll disconnect. But you know what? My channel's still up and running. It's good. You know, I still communicate with people. I think to run strong is to really check yourself, make sure you're okay. You know, my health was affected. So I learned the hard way, actually. Um, and maybe I'm just not really talking about it, but I've learned like it's affected my health where I've been hospitalized for days. Um, where I had like oh gosh, I can't remember it now, but it's basically like mini strokes and things like that. And it's just because I was so obsessed with just working and even like if even at a job as an employee, whether I'm a manager, or maybe I took up a gig or something, I get obsessed with my work. And that's not only with my creation. So I had to tell myself, like, you know what? You see those memes and everything, like, oh, if you something happens to you today, they're replacing you tomorrow. And that's so true. So I'm like, so on a personal, like as an employee, I'm like, yeah, I need to chill out. Like, yeah, I could be dedicated, but I have to be disciplined. And that's the same thing that I bring to my own creations. Be disciplined. Check out when you need to check out. Focus. Don't worry about anybody else. And if you don't have a team, it's okay. You learn different aspects of being a creator. You learn to be okay, how to make logos, how to make backgrounds, how to make flyers or edit. You start learning how to edit things, and that's okay. Like just just take your time and do what you have to do. Don't worry about if there's no funding for it. Just slowly um learn things. And I know people barter, serve, what is it, bartering? Like, hey, help me out, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
And that works too. But there's also a limit on that, you know?
And I would say don't be afraid to fail to others as well, because some people think like everything has to be perfect and people are afraid to make mistakes. But the best part about making those mistakes is you learn from those.
You
You know,
know,
most people don't learn from their
yeah.
experience.
So I never felt like I failed. I felt like I've learned. Like, oh, I'm not
Right.
doing that again, you know? So,
Right.
and that's the perks of it. So if you do feel that failure, try to shift your mindset and it's a learning experience. You wouldn't have known better or you wouldn't have known that might not work or it was a bad decision until you've learned, you know? So trust me, I learned things the hard way and I feel like I haven't failed yet.
100%. I respect that. I like the confidence that you have in it.
Thank you. You think it's confidence? I just think I don't
No,
know.
no, not in a bad way though. You
No,
know,
I
just
know,
like
I know, I
the
know, no, no, I didn't take it as a bad way. I just feel like life been lifing my whole life, so I have
yeah,
no choice but to do better, you know?
exactly. That's kind of the mindset I have too. Like there's nowhere to go but to the top. So just keep going, regardless of how many times you fall down,
Like whether you got a U-turn, whether you have to go back and start
Yeah.
from scratch, it's okay to start from scratch too. Like I don't think I haven't done it. Actually, I basically wiped out everything and just recently. And I still have it like obviously archived for my purposes. But I
Hmm.
wiped everything out. I'm like 2025, I'm coming out different. So I wiped out a lot everything actually.
New
Yeah.
year, new me, you said?
Yeah, I was like, you know what? You know what? I want to start from scratch again. It's just me. It's you know how being a creator, sometimes you just like throw the whole canvas out and start a new piece of art.
Just want to be innovative, start something
Yeah,
new.
there you go.
And could you share some of your favorite roles in hosting Vibe to Vibe TV and some roles that you do that are like stressful and mentally draining sometimes?
So I've learned, um, okay, so I'm a Sapio, so obviously I love intellectual conversations. I love conversations with meaning behind
Mhm.
it, and or just a conversation that like, damn, I feel your passion. Like I feel how ambitious you are. And sometimes it's hard for people to understand you as a creator because you're so ambitious or you have so many hobbies or you yourself know how it feels. So just to connect with somebody and just watch their madness be beautiful,
Yeah,
like, when I speak to visual artists, I'm just like, damn, like you're crazy, but like you're crazy because not in a bad way. Like your mind is thinking about your ultimate final vision, the piece, but the things that you do and the steps you take, it's just like so mind-blowing. So, my favorite part is just speaking to somebody. Just like me and you right now, my mind is like, damn, this is amazing because I know your accomplishments and you're onto something, continuous and you're building bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just amazing. I'm proud of you, like just speaking to you
thank you.
as a person, like, right? So it's just like imagine when you speak to other creators and you just see their own madness in like a beautiful painting, but you don't know how long or how many sacrifices or how hard things may have gotten for them and they still were able to finish their masterpiece, whether it was an audio engineering, a painting, like, I'm just using that as an example. So it's always like the pleasure to speak to somebody that who is creative and successful, even if they're beginners. You successfully completed something, and I'm happy for you. I'm genuinely happy for you. Um, the downfall is that I people's energy that they attach to me. So I thankfully hadn't really had a bad experience talking to people. Usually like when you first meet somebody, you can kind of feel them like, okay, they're really serious about their craft. They're even though they're just beginning, they're this much organized or this much like presenting themselves, you know? Their presentation is good, but the downfall is like once people start going down like a negative path, I just go the opposite way. So even meeting people, I've had people like, oh, I want to be on your show, I want to be on your platform. And I'm like, yeah, sure, like as long as you're serious about it, and then you stand me up, So it's just like, okay, you could have communicated and just let me know because I'm pretty understand. Actually, I'm too understanding, but it's like one of my qualities and my flaws. So I think the downfall is just knowing you do have to say no sometimes and knowing that you know what, don't feel guilty or don't feel bad that you did have to say that no. I'm very like well protected, so it took a lot.
I can honestly relate to everything you just said because I'm the same way. Like I've been one of those guys to like never say no to people all the time, but about maybe I'd say 2 years ago, I had to start making that a habit of saying no to people and knowing why. And most of the time, it's for the betterment of yourself as well. So
Right. Right. I agree with you. Just learn. It's okay. It's okay to say no. It's okay not to vibe with something. I show up, do my job, and leave. And I've learned that I don't have to stay at the event the whole time, especially if you see like it's going left a little bit or, and I'm a chill person. I've come a long way. I'm at peace, but I'm also human. So
mhm.
by that is like I could turn up too. So I just prefer not to, So it's a level of peace, peace over everything. That's what I've learned. I actually have that written on my wall, peace over everything.
That's the way I move around this world too. Peace
Yep.
over everything. And to what you had said earlier about like seeing people's like creative madness turn into something like beautiful artwork, basically. I remember back in an interview recently. This was around like December. It was on DJ Who Kids podcast with Paul Rosenberg and Eminem.
Okay.
And so Eminem's like writing paper that he writes his music on. It's not like how everyone else's is. It's like a bunch of lines written everywhere, all over the paper. And Paul Rosenberg called it create. What was it? Organized chaos.
I love it.
So
Yes.
that's immediately what came to my mind while you were speaking on that whole segue there.
That's like
It's
my
organized
mind. Like you just,
chaos.
yeah, describe my mind. There was another interview with M too. Like he actually treated his and I actually, now that I think about it, I started doing this at some point because I had a physical location at one point.
Hmm.
And Eminem said, or people that would work with him, like he treated it like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like he shows up 9 to 5 and leaves, like he disconnects. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, I guess. Like just disconnect. Um, and at one point, yeah, I did have a physical location, and unfortunately, that commercial building was sold. But it was nice. It was we had two. So at one point, we would break night. Me and I would give other creators a space. Like, you need to get out of your house. It's fine. Come. I'm gonna be working, but you could use a different section, the back room, whatever. And next thing you know, it's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we're like, we're still here. You're still here. Like obviously, like it's a 900 square feet space, so we could see each other, but it's just like we were just like, oh shoot, we need to chill. And then it
Yeah.
turned into like 7, 8, 9, 10 in the morning. I'm like, oh yeah. So I've learned the hard way, trust me, especially if you have a couch there or in your setup, depending how your studio is or whatnot. It's just like you catch yourself really like obsessing. So disconnect, Eminem 9 to 5, or that creative madness, right? You got to get organized, and hey, that might be his organized way. But I take notes crazy too, so that's funny.
It's best like people who take notes on things like that. It's just you trying to learn from the great so you can be great at what you do.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah,
And
that's beautiful.
last thing, is there any advice you would want to give to people who are trying to follow in your footsteps in your journey?
People do like to pick my brain a lot. Um, I'm built a little different, and it could be just because of my background and everything like that, but I'm just like, do what you want to do. Don't like I think that's my answer to everything. Like just do you. Do what you want to do. People are gonna say, "Oh, that's never done before," or they may say that has been done before. But either way, irrelevant. Just do what you want to do. And you don't necessarily have to be the next me. You could be greater than me. You could be bigger than me. You could be satellite, internet, audio, all that, which well, I do that. But like, I don't know, something beyond, bigger, right? Bigger, picked up by networks and things like that. But that's a whole different conversation. Or you could just um keep your own brand. You don't necessarily have to go, just like music artists, they could be independent and successful. So you also could be successful too. It's just how you defined it, really. I feel successful, I feel happy. And the thing is, like, I'm comfortable. I don't necessarily want to do less and I don't necessarily want to do more. But if I get there, I get there, whether it's a little less, whether it's a little more. I I'm living on the moment right now. Life is too short to be worried about what's next and who's criticizing you. And you got to know who's criticizing you. You know, you it could be an expert in the industry who wants to see you do good. So they're going to give you that good critique. Or it could be an expert that sees you as competition and they're going to downplay you. So again, just be careful who's critiquing you, who you're calling a mentor. Not everybody's a mentor. Um, and just know that that's not a title easily given either. So just know, do you. Don't worry about anybody else. Again, know who's critiquing you if you are accepting critique. Or you could not accept it necessarily. You can listen, but you don't have to absorb it. Thank you for your input and keep it moving. And that's it.
Love it, love it. Tell everyone block out the negative noise and just continue to do what you
Yeah.
love and your passion. Don't let no one knock you down or your character.
Yes, I definitely respect that. You said, well, very well worded.
And the last thing I do on the end of my podcast is ask all my guests if there's a artist in any form of genre of music that you resonate with and why.
Oh man, it's a little bit of everything. A little bit of I could think of a few different artists because my music playlist is definitely very extensive. So my genres go from R&B, hip hop, rap, boom bap rap to classical music. Um, so it's really hard. That's a really hard question. Like, oh my gosh. Like if I have my gangster hat on today, it would be, I don't know. Or if it would be like my jazzy, Carlos Santana, he's amazing. Just him playing instruments alone, I feel like my soul just vibes with it. I love Wu-Tang, I be on my
Mm.
Wu-Tang. Yeah, so that's a hard question, like I might be Tupac and pull up. Like
Oh,
I'm just
tell you
kidding.
what,
So
let's
I
make it
have
easy. I
that's
was
a
gonna,
hard question. For someone like me that listens to almost every genre in multiple languages. It's hard. It's hard. I don't know.
that's all right. Tell you what, let's put it this way. Say you're having like a really bummed out day for some reason, and you always turn to this artist just because their lyrics or their music just always hits you right when you're going through something. Like they easily put you in a
Hmm.
good mood right after you listen.
But it depends. This is a really hard question because what am I bummed out about? Oh my gosh. Because I could be actually
Yeah.
this is hard because I listen to rock, I listen to metals, I listen to so my go-to. I want to cry. This is so hard. I'm thinking about my recent music, but I'm just like, I just vibe to everything. I think lately, just to zen myself and just to like chill out, whether it's like a bummed out moment or a moment that I just need to myself, I've been really playing like jazzy house music. So not necessarily an artist or um yeah, a particular artist or even genre. It's like a mixture of just beats and like it's really soulful. So I would say jazzy house music, and it kind of gets me like in a good state of mind. So not necessarily a specific artist. I could say like narrowing it down to those two genres. That's where I'm vibing at right now. But there are times that if I'm bummed out, or if I need to disconnect, sometimes I do listen to heavy metal like Metallica or some 90s 2000 rock or Linkin Park, so it really just depends. If I wanted to realign myself, maybe I'll be like, you know what? I need to get out of this funk. I need to listen to some Wu-Tang because, you know, so I turn up like that or like if I'm in a hustler's mindset, maybe like a Jay-Z or a Nipsey. So it just really if I'm looking for wisdom, some Nas, so that's a hard question. That's a really hard. I never had a hard question. That's pretty hard. I give you that. Well, for someone like me, um, or if I want to feel alive, like I said, Carlos Santana. Yeah, this is like an endless answer because it'll switch up. So, music is my everything actually. So you might hear me listening to a composition, um, or some Frank Sinatra, or so it just goes left with me. If you come to a road trip with me, that should be a challenge. Come on a road trip with me. Let's drive down the East Coast or let's go west, and my playlist will shock the hell out of you.
No
Like,
doubt.
oh yeah.
To be honest, though, some of those artists you were naming, I listen to as well, especially Linkin Park. I'm a heavy Linkin Park fan,
Yeah,
so
I
you
love
caught
Linkin
me on
Park.
that
Oh
one.
my God. Yeah. So, you'll hear Corn, you'll hear some random artists. You would like, dang, I didn't know you listened to that. Yeah, I listen to everything. And I break down the music. So sometimes I have to listen to music twice because I'm breaking down the instruments sometimes. I catch myself like, oh, that was a snare, that's a trumpet, that's a flute, a violin. Oh man. So like I'm like, oh wait, I missed the whole song because I was breaking down this beat and it's just, I don't know. It's hard.
No, yeah, I'm the same way. The smallest details in music matter to me, down to the production,
Oh
to the
yeah.
vocals, and
But
everything.
yeah, and like DMX, oh man, DMX is rest in peace. That's my go-to as well. Like my DMX, Eminem. Like I guess I'm stuck in an era, I guess, when it comes down to certain music, like to get me really out of the funk, to pull me out. I'm slipping with DMX, I'm falling with DMX, but we gotta get up.
No,
So
I am too. Like people call me an old head just because I'm stuck in the 2000s and 90s, but it's like it's not my fault. That was the prime of high quality music, you know?
yes, so it was, yeah, it's definitely music evolves and it turns into different things, transitions into different things. Like even the hip hop, like Naughty by Nature, things like that.
Yeah.
So, um, it's just Yeah, like my playlist is crazy and my artist to go to, it's a long list. So, I don't really watch TV like that. I listen to music all day, really. And if I don't have music playing, I have it playing in my mind. So it's a definitely a good asset to have for mental health.
Yeah, to all the listeners out there, it's always good to be versatile and expand your palette in music. Don't stick to one genre, don't stick to one artist, Open your ears
Right.
to other things. You never know what you like.
Yes, yes, I agree with you.
And with that being said, this concludes another episode of Sanity and Symphony Podcast here with your host, Official Insanity, joined with Tori, and we'll catch
Thank
you
you.
guys. Peace.